Introduction. You may have seen a construction site where the ground gets dug deeply and a robust and solid foundation stone is laid. A strong foundation means that the building on which it's built can go higher. However, without this strong foundation, it will be unable to sustain height. The same applies to life. We cannot relate with others, be productive and resilient, and achieve career success and emotional well-being without strong social skills. Sometimes, we're not great at making conversation. Think about it. Have you ever made a joke that fell flat, or you may have inadvertently hurt someone's feelings? It can be easy to overact when something embarrassing happens with friends. But often, it'll all make for a funny story that'll strengthen your relationships in the long run. However, if you make mistakes too often, it can damage your self-esteem. If social skills are something you don't know much about, it may slow down your progress in both work and relationships. Some people might come off as antisocial or harmful to others, but they might be shy. Knowing this can help you better understand your behavior. Many people find it challenging to engage in social situations and make friends. Some people avoid socialization due to anxiety, while others are introverted and enjoy being alone. Regardless of who you are, developing social skills and communicating effectively is essential. It could be challenging to learn social skills if you weren't exposed to types of social dynamics as a child. With mental illnesses or just a plain lack of positive role models, it's hard to learn and maintain these skills. Young people become more adept at managing their own emotions as well as the feelings of others, and doing so productively by socializing while they grow up. If you haven't yet developed these skills, don't worry, it's not too late to learn. Interacting with people is a vital social skill necessary for success in all aspects of life. Social skills enable people to keep relationships with others and build new ones. Individuals with good social skills are more physically and psychologically healthy, and their personality develops stronger. Many opportunities are only available to those with good social skills. Being social is not just inborn. One can learn to be social and practice it to get better. Having good social skills can make other people feel comfortable and get along with them. They can also influence their decisions. Some examples of good social skills include attentive listening, punctuality, empathy, and respect. Many people feel anxious now that companies are bringing employees together in person. But don't let this and an inability to spend more than 5 minutes chatting with coworkers hold you back. The good news? The last 2 years haven't made anyone socially competent. The bad news is that many people are acting awkwardly and misunderstandings will happen. You don't have to change yourself, but you might need to change your approach. Your body language speaks louder than anything you're saying. If you're more sociable, your relationships with others will likely improve. Social skills can make you feel better about yourself and your work. They can help you collaborate, improve your confidence, and reduce isolation at the office. This audiobook will give you tips to improve your skills in socializing. We'll discuss how to do that with coworkers, strangers, and friends. So what are you waiting for? Come with me and let's sharpen your social skills, create more connections with people, and open up more avenues for you to find new opportunities. Chapter 1. The Social Foundation: Emotional Intelligence. We might never truly know what others feel, but it doesn't stop us from speculating and asking. We are fascinated with others' emotions, but forced to rely on our own observations to understand them. Instead of relying on our impressions and social perceptions, we can accurately train people to recognize hidden emotions. Emotional intelligence, or EI, is thinking about and processing emotions. Emotions can be very influential on one's thoughts. A person with high emotional intelligence can solve problems more quickly and easily than others, is better at social relations, has good verbal and other intelligence, and avoids problematic and self-destructive behaviors. EI pertains to understanding the various emotions used in daily life, such as when your friend doesn't want their secret to be made public. They might show you their warning by widening their eyes, shaking their head, or even changing the subject. Emotionally intelligent people can understand emotions through cues like facial expressions and recognize nonverbal behaviors. So people usually speak about intelligence as the hard skills: problem solving, verbal work, the logic used, or numerical analysis. When it comes to soft skills, social roles, emotions, and relationships, people rarely think of them as essential measures of intelligence. Hard skills are essential, but soft skills help us maintain friendships, satisfy our work needs, and find happiness in life. Social skills are a core part of emotional intelligence. They teach us how to interact and work with those around us to help us get what we want. We choose the emotions we want to show on stage in a way that may resemble theater. The ones we feel backstage remain hidden. Smiles are an excellent example of something that spreads cheer. It can make others want to smile as well. This will lead to easy collaboration, as I'll get a smile in return for everyone I give. A smile also helps us feel better about our day and can trigger positive energy in others. Social skills are the lubricating oils of society. Interpersonal skills help interactions be mutually beneficial. Social or interpersonal skills include assertiveness, communication, conflict resolution, and anger management. For instance, assertiveness involves communicating one's opinions without infringing on the rights of others. By improving one's social and communication skills, the person will demonstrate greater competency in listening and speaking. Good social skills are also associated with controlling anger, achieving goals, and improving problem-solving skills. High EI is linked with crucial social outcomes, including cooperation, self-management, empathy, and relationship management. Today we can say that social intelligence is the ability to understand and react to social signals. It may also include being able to monitor and manage one's emotions, as well as being able to fit into a variety of social contexts. As adults, social life complexity varies greatly. In general, people have a broad understanding of what constitutes socially appropriate behavior, but may not be able to execute it as well as others. Social intelligence is evident as early as the 6th week of life. By 18 months old, children can read complex social cues and understand others' intentions. As we get older, our social environment becomes more complicated. Most people must be taught many skills to navigate complex social relationships successfully. As adults, we become responsible and capable of acquiring new social skills to help us. Developing social intelligence has many benefits for people. They can benefit from an extensive range of areas, including adapting to changing social situations. If COVID-19 taught us anything, it's that we need to be able to adapt and stay positive when times get tough. The more you develop your social intelligence and empathy, the better you get at managing complex social situations and your own emotions. Personal well-being. Social intelligence lets us better understand how people communicate with each other on a sublevel. It also helps us decode emotional signals and understand our own emotions and those of others. This allows for greater levels of personal and emotional well-being. It's been discovered in a recent study that individuals with higher levels of social intelligence are less likely to experience depressive symptoms and are more satisfied with their lives. Economic success. One of the most common misconceptions is that people with low social intelligence fail. People who can adapt to a workplace and regulate their own emotions will be more productive in the workplace. They'll also be more effective at working with others, building relationships, and thinking outside their box. More employers are now valuing social intelligence over regular IQ scores. Communication and teamwork skills are the most important assets you can bring to a new workplace. Employers value these qualities over decision-making, writing, or taking the initiative. There's more than one model of social intelligence, but we'll be looking at the 5 categories. Self-awareness. To live your life as a high-functioning person, you need to understand your emotions. For example, are you dysphoric in loud environments? Do you get angry when people talk over your voice? You're practicing self-awareness if you're aware of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and their consequences on others. Self-regulation. Self-regulation is the understanding and management of your emotions. Knowing how to regulate them as they come up is essential as well. If you become angry, it's crucial to understand how to calm down. Emotion regulation tells you not to do things that make you feel bad. If stalking your ex-wife will make you upset, it helps if you take the time and do something else. Motivation. External factors like money, status, or pain are powerful motivators. But a key component of motivating yourself is internal motivation, the ability to remain driven by your motivations and create or continue projects of your choice. Empathy. It's just as important to be aware of others' emotions. Knowing how people express themselves makes it easier to distinguish between someone who feels comfortable and someone anxious. Understanding other people's thought processes can help in any situation, but it also means being able to empathize with them when they're in different circumstances. This section deals with your ability to steer the course of relationships and get what you want in social situations. It doesn't involve controlling others, but understanding how to reach your goals with other people. For example, letting coworkers realize what you can do for them or asking a friend for help would fall under this category. There's not one right way to handle every social situation. This is why it's good to practice these 4 competencies when approaching new situations. We'll review these and more in the audiobook to help you understand how to apply these principles in different social situations. A socially intelligent person can nurture deep relationships with people they care about. Culture constantly evolves, but to succeed in social situations, we must practice and think about what we do next. Listen on to uncover more. Chapter 2. Social Awareness. What is social awareness? The concept of social awareness is simple. It involves considering other people's perspectives and applying that understanding to interactions with them. It means being aware of the people around you and interacting with them. It can be summed up as reading the room. Higher levels of social awareness allow you to understand better the society you live in. You possess a detailed understanding of society's setups, environments, problems, struggles, norms, and cultures. It almost feels like you can feel society's pulse and vibes. One study found that those brought up in a nurturing environment were more likely to adopt the perspectives of others, while those raised in a high-dominant environment were less likely. Social awareness skills give you the upper hand in interpersonal relationships. They help you solve social problems and have better professional success. That said, most people agree that being socially aware continues to develop as we age and learn from more experiences. Why is social awareness critical? Stronger connections and relationships. As we grow, we subconsciously develop social awareness skills that allow us to understand better how one fits into and contributes to the community and the world. Building social awareness strengthens connections and relationships. It's essential for romantic and non-romantic relationships because people are more invested in each other. In the workplace, it helps us maintain professional decorum and proactively share information. Social awareness also helps us make friends and get along better with coworkers. The world of sports is based heavily on relationships. It isn't easy to accept this, but it's the truth. Relationships are important in getting the job you want. You can have the best resume, but without a connection to get your resume to the people who make hiring decisions, you'll likely never get a chance at the job. Without social awareness, it's hard to form meaningful relationships. However, if you are mindful of opportunities and the other person's feelings, you can make strong connections with people. Building better relationships with your coaches, teammates, friends, or partners can lead to fulfillment. Conflict management. Avoiding conflicts isn't always the best solution, even if that seems to be the goal. Conflict can sometimes be unavoidable, and trying to prevent it only worsens things. We can figure out how to better manage our lives by learning to look at conflict through the lens of social awareness. Arguments can often lead to a lack of social awareness. When people argue, they are typically defending their point of view and not considering other people's needs. This is not good for resolution. This only leads to further frustration and arguing. However, if you're socially aware, conflict can be dealt with more positively. Social awareness helps us understand the other person's point of view. It enables us to consider their feelings, needs, and opinions when making a decision. This way, conflicts are healthier and less damaging. Increased positivity. The two benefits above show how social awareness increases our overall positivity. A positive life is better than a negative one. Anyone who used to slump and now tends to be more positive can affirm this is a better way to live. Improved relationships make it easier to be positive about certain situations. Consider a coach-athlete relationship. Such a strong bond will improve your outlook. If you believe in your ability to keep improving, then as you improve, your attitude is more positive. When conflicts are appropriately managed, we better sense that our life is full of hope and good vibes. We may not see it, but when we can navigate unpleasant situations more smoothly, it's much easier to see the positives in our lives. Less discrimination. Social awareness is tied to empathy, which reduces discrimination and has the potential to make society more inclusive. Once you know how someone thinks and feels, it becomes hard to be discriminatory or think badly of them. It's like looking at someone's inner workings instead of the outside world. People can be biased in various ways, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to discriminate because people can see from multiple perspectives. We typically only have our viewpoints and try to convince others they're wrong. But just because we think something's true doesn't make it so. Instead, high social awareness can help us empathize with others and understand their beliefs. This doesn't mean we need to agree with them, but we can appreciate their viewpoint is different from ours. Forms and examples of social awareness. Schools are perfect for seeing people show their emotions, and kids always offer excellent examples. Consider an interaction where two children are sitting quietly trying to learn. A third child does something inappropriate to get their attention. The others have no other option but to engage with them for politeness. If the two children have a low social ability, then having the third child join in might be accepted. However, if their emotional skills are slightly better developed, they'll likely find this behavior rude. Even though children may not address negative feelings right away, it's likely to affect future social decisions and interrupt teaching and learning. Here's a list of social awareness skills with examples to better understand. Emotional awareness. When you understand what other people are feeling and consider the circumstances, you empathize with them. This makes compassion a natural response. For example, if someone's loved one feels sad, grief-stricken, or lonely, your empathetic response would be to offer them compassion. Self-regulation. Social awareness is difficult to attain. To be socially aware, you must be self-aware and know how to regulate your emotions. For example, if a child throws a tantrum, an empathetic response would validate their feelings while keeping calm. Listening actively. Listen to understand is more important than listening to respond. It's about observing verbal and nonverbal cues, showing attentiveness, and providing appropriate feedback. Let's say your partner got fired. You would sit with them, be present for them, and listen to their concerns without judgment. You can help them by helping them to reflect on what went wrong and what could have been done differently. Respect and kindness. Treating other people with respect shows that you are friendly and generous, which builds feelings of trust and well-being. For instance, treating people with opposing political views kindly is essential. It's better to listen closely, keep your emotions in check, and look for common ground than blindly argue or insult them. Cooperation. One way to make this work is by setting clear boundaries, making compromises, assuming shared responsibility and accountability, and valuing each person's opinions and contributions. For example, when it comes to household chores, You help your spouse with tasks so it can be less stressful for everyone. It's not unusual to feel in need of some social awareness. If you do, you'll understand how you fit into society and how to contribute later. Ways to ignite your social awareness. To make social awareness your goal, try focusing on knowing yourself. You can improve this by trying to understand and appreciate other points of view. Become a better listener. If we want to improve our social awareness, one of the simplest ways is by becoming better listeners. When you focus on listening, it changes the way you think. Sometimes we avoid talking to people because of how they might react. This mindset makes it impossible to reach a mutual understanding and makes us feel like we're in a defensive position. We should listen to understand. Show your interest in the other person, and they'll enjoy talking to you. That'll make communication much more effective. Pay attention to body language. Pay attention to body language while you are communicating with someone. The way they communicate has a lot to say about how they are feeling and what your next move should be. By noticing their body language, it's possible to understand the other person's emotions better. Put yourself in their shoes. Understanding people who are different from us can take a lot of effort. Imagine if you were in the same situation. How would you react? But to understand their opinions and beliefs, it's important to get into their perspective. All you need to do is think about how you would feel if you were them. Would what I'm saying or how I'm acting be upsetting or hurtful? This exercise will help you understand other people better. Social awareness is one of the most important skills for emotional intelligence. It allows one to understand how another person feels, empathize with them, and see things from their perspective. Developing the ability to empathize with others can be difficult. We often get so caught up in our own lives that we forget to think about how other people are feeling. However, it is a skill that can help us better understand how someone else is feeling. Cultivating your social awareness will help you with your relationships. You'll be less awkward in conversations, and there won't be any embarrassing silences. Chapter 3. Social Regulation. Social regulation is the ability to influence the emotional clarity of others through relationships, network, and management. Social regulation is different from social awareness in that it focuses less on reading one's physical signals and more on how to react. Social regulation also helps people to create connections. So, why is social regulation necessary? Successful social regulation and emotional management are crucial to workplace skills like collaboration and communication. They allow one to pursue workplace goals, advance in the workplace, and maintain genuine relationships simultaneously. Social regulation skills are essential for influencing others. Developing regulations that everyone can agree on is crucial. You can do this by focusing on mutual interests, considering others with empathy, and using your knowledge for the greater good. What does low social regulation look like? Here are 3 examples of low social regulation. Talking down to others. People with poor social regulation often talk down to colleagues and friends. This can result from prioritizing being right in their introspective view rather than communicating effectively. According to Inc.com survey results, a condescending attitude from bosses was among the top 5 reasons employees quit their jobs. Being a non-designated spokesperson. One way low social regulation creates mistakes is when people assume their viewpoint is the same as everyone else. This can happen especially in leadership positions when someone used to making decisions and having others do their bidding feels confident deciding without asking for input. When you think your point of view is the most valuable, you are missing out on solutions that others may come up with, which will cause you to lose their trust and respect. Poor communication skills. This lack of social skills will hinder your success in the workplace. You need to be able to read the room and understand people around you if you want to know when it's a good moment to speak up or when it's appropriate to share your thoughts on a topic. People are going to take you less seriously as a result. You don't need to be an excellent public speaker. People will respect you more if they know you care about listening to them. Self-regulation versus self-control. The difference between self-regulation and self-control is that self-control is the ability to resist impulses, while self-regulation is identifying and reducing the intensity of problems that provoke urges. In essence, self-regulation makes it possible to have better self-control. Learning self-control is key to growing up. We always teach our kids not to let their feelings get the best. Self-control is excellent, but it's not the only way to go about things. It's also essential to learn how to regulate themselves. Emotional people often have difficulty thinking of anything but the emotion they're feeling. This is because the emotional parts of their brain take over, while the rational part takes a back seat. When people calm down, their thought process switches to normal and sound decision-making has an opportunity to prevail. People often try to force themselves to ignore negative emotions. The simplest way they do this is by taking deep breaths, counting to 10, trying to distract themselves, and considering the consequences of their actions. All of these things sound great and may be helpful at the moment, but they are not a permanent fix because they rely on the prefrontal cortex to make decisions that help it override the limbic system. Researchers at Duke University suggest that most people are more likely to spiral into distress when they are already upset because their rational side is less influential. That's where self-regulation comes in. In order to self-regulate, we have first to identify the stresses that cause negative emotions and work to reduce or eliminate them. The best way to help oneself regulate is to teach them how to determine what upsets them and give them ways they can cope with those stresses. Self-regulation is not only good for avoiding tantrums, it's essential to ensure we can function well in any environment. Understanding ego depletion. Inhibition is a way of regulating oneself, and it relies on self-awareness and comparing oneself to the existing standards. You probably feel exhausted after a long, busy day. It's easy to want to avoid work when there's nothing left in you. After running errands, working on projects, and rushing from appointment to appointment, will you have the energy for any of your personal goals? After a hard day, people might feel exhausted and burn out due to what psychologists call the ego depletion effect. So, what is ego depletion? Ego depletion is when your willpower has been depleted because you used it in another activity. When faced with a decision, it can be hard to resist doing something. The small act of willpower to say no is difficult. Say no to a sweet treat or another coffee. There's a theory about why our willpower dwindles. Some psychologists believe that your willpower is just a muscle, and you can't do anything anymore as it gets tired. Exercising your willpower is essential, so it's strong when you need it the most. The idea of ego depletion is important to understand if you're saving for a house, launching a freelance career, or counting calories. It means that you can strategically use self-restraint on the bad habits that are your highest priority. The best way to achieve your goals is to make incremental, sustainable changes. You won't solve all your financial problems with a single decision, but over time and with consistency, you can train your willpower to make smarter decisions. Willpower is like a muscle. It can be both strengthened and fatigued. For example, if you exhaust yourself doing sprints, you'll be less able to perform other physical tasks. Studies show that willpower and self-control are similar. When you use up all your energy, you will have less self-control to deal with more tasks. Having good self-control is beneficial in several ways. People with high levels of self-control are more likely to have better relationships and higher achievement goals. Those who lack it can experience social conflict and poor academic performance. There are many ways to deplete your ego, such as exerting initiative or making difficult choices and decisions, emotional stress, low blood sugar, and excessive choices. Essentially, when you put in work without getting anything back, your ego will be drained. Along with different types of fatigue, ego depletion can happen and may be related to something like decision fatigue or burnout. How to overcome ego depletion. The depletion of the ego can make you feel like giving up on your goals. You can do things such as choose achievable goals or consider different ways to reward yourself. Use implementation intentions. If-then statements are often used in coding to control what happens when a particular event occurs. You can also use this statement in your life and work to delegate tasks you don't want to do or automate unimportant decisions. Implementation intentions are statements that you can make to help avoid temptation. Saying, "If I see something tempting online, I'll save that page for later," is an example. Having a plan for what to do in situations where you know you're going to break is an essential way of easing some of the strain out of thinking about what might happen, and that could break. Take a break with positive experiences. Positive mood offsets the effects of ego depletion. To keep your mind fresh, spend a few minutes watching a funny video or spending time with a cherished pet. Get enough sleep. Being well rested correlates with improved mood and increased mental performance. A positive attitude and cognitive ability decreases the effects of ego depletion. Changing your sleep habits requires time and effort, but it's worth it all in the end. Eat the frog. The technique is simple. Do the most challenging task before your willpower starts running out. You'll be surprised how this then affects your willpower reserves over time. Limit exposure. In one study, those who wanted to eat less unhealthy snacks at work were more successful when they saw their friends eating healthy. This in turn indicates that limiting exposure to a bad habit makes it easier to avoid. Limiting exposure makes it hard for you to get into situations where you need it. 5 steps to self-regulation. I am. You could try deep breathing, drawing, writing in a journal, reading or listening to a book, squeezing a stress ball, or talking about how you're feeling. I solve. Now that you're calm, it's time to learn a new skill or solve a problem. Train yourself or the other person to handle the trigger differently so they'll be prepared for it when it happens again. If you find yourself in a tense situation with your colleagues, try suggesting that the two of you work with someone else who can help you come up with a solution. That said, if you respond to one's bad behavior with frustration and anger, they will probably continue to act out. On the other hand, if you tell them that their behavior is not okay before trying to understand and help them, they are likely to calm down faster. We don't want to feel fear, distrust, or bury our feelings. Instead of getting upset about the problem, we can recognize when we're feeling frustrated and use that calm state to think creatively. There are many ways to achieve peace of mind. A 5-step process that you can use to help someone else calm down might be the best way. If someone looks as though they are getting angry, show them how to remain calm, teach them how to lower their heartbeat and focus on their breathing, and offer encouragement and support. Chapter 4. Motivation. The role of motivation in life. You don't need permission to be great. When you ask for permission, you stop yourself from moving forward toward your goals. Goals are the stepping stones to your dreams, so if you want them, you need motivation. Motivation is the key to achieving those goals, turning good thoughts into action and taking full advantage of good ideas. However, without a goal, it's hard to get motivated. If it weren't for Steve Jobs, you wouldn't have a MacBook Air tablet, iPhone, or iPad. You wouldn't be able to hold that designer handbag or wear those clothes if all the designers didn't chase their visions and turn them into reality. Perhaps you are wondering, so what is motivation? Motivation is the driving force behind all that you do in life. Without it, you would never be able to pursue the life you want to live. Whether it be what you do every day or your big goals, motivation is an integral part of this process. It gives you the strength and power to move on with your life. Motivation is key to who we are. Unfortunately, it's not always easy to maintain. Learning more about motivation can help us improve ourselves and the lives of those around us. It's hard to predict what life throws at us. This can be countered with motivation, which will help us take corrective action. Motivation is a vital resource that allows people to take advantage of the many opportunities and threats they face. A well-motivated person can thrive, whereas a demotivated person will likely flounder. There are many societal benefits to increased motivation, including better job satisfaction in employees and flourishing relationships. The importance of motivation. It is essential to stay motivated throughout your goal process. Here are some reasons why motivation is so important. Identifying a goal. Goals are the vehicle for change. They come from your desire to improve life and can be either positive or negative. If you're unhappy with an aspect of your life, a goal is what will get you the opposite results. On the other hand, there may be something that you enjoy in life, but would like to experience more of it, or there may be something in life that you would like to add. People who have a strong desire for change are motivated to work hard to improve their circumstances. Prioritization. To accomplish your goals in life, you'll need to focus your energy on them and commit yourself to them. There is limited time and energy, so you must choose the most critical projects. When you have a surplus of activities to do, it's crucial to prioritize the ones with the most potential. It's essential to be motivated to choose the tasks that will provide the best results. Action. Anyone can draw up a plan, but the value of that plan won't be known until you put it into action. It would help if you took consistent, decisive, and effective action without fail to achieve your goal. Motivation is the difference between those who take action and those who don't. Whenever you're feeling unmotivated, your high levels of motivation will push you through with success. Overcoming setbacks. Jack Canfield, in his book, offers a surprising statistic. Of the well-known people interviewed about their keys to success, the vast majority of salespeople give up after the fourth time of asking, but 60% of sales are made after the fourth time. This supports the idea that it is worth pushing through and continuing to make your pitch. This can be applied to all goals. We often abandon achieving our dreams because we encounter an obstacle. Resilience allows us to overcome these obstacles and realize our ambitions. You must decide whether to keep going or give up when you hit obstacles. Motivation will enable you to continue with your goal. Staying the course. It is easy to lose motivation when pursuing a goal. Keep your eye on the prize and stay focused on how far you've come. To succeed for an extended period requires someone who is highly motivated and will take consistent action toward their goal. These people are also very determined and reiterated their desire to continue working to reinforce themselves. When you have a clear vision and effective goals to realize that vision, it is essential to take consistent action. To take consistent action requires motivation. Motivation is hard to find, and it's even harder to maintain. Work on it every day if you want lasting motivation that will help you stick with your goals no matter what. Set a goal and never lose sight of the motivation you need to make it through the tough times. Categories of motivation. Extrinsic motivation. There isn't one single way to motivate people, but the key is understanding what people need and the most motivating factor for them. Humans' motives are complex and often influenced by the environment and social groups. Self-determination theory explains when external rewards and punishments can positively or negatively affect motivation. Rewards sometimes undermine autonomy by reducing feelings of self-determination and could lead to dependence. Rewards can both satisfy and undermine our need for competence. It is crucial to dole out rewards that encourage competence without threatening the sense of autonomy. Rewards should be given sparingly and only for activities that are not exciting. Praise is more beneficial than money, as it fulfills psychological needs and lasts longer. People like to be incentivized by rewards that are related to themselves. If they can identify the incentive with themselves, it will have a higher effect. It is essential to identify and understand the motivations that are driving someone's actions. Think about it. What is the difference between saying, "I do this because it's the right thing to do," versus, "I do this because I am a good person"? Intrinsic motivation is present when we engage in something because we want to. We do not need to be given a reward for it, such as money or praise. Intrinsic motivation is what drives us to become curious And this curiosity motivates us to learn and explore. Intrinsic motivation can come from the need to interact actively with the environment. Intrinsic motivation causes people to be naturally drawn to behaviors that help them become more competent at what they do. Additionally, when we start doing a task for extrinsic reasons, it can turn into something we enjoy and do for its own sake. Intrinsically motivated goal pursuit provides short-term and long-term benefits. It satisfies our psychological need for autonomy and competence, leading to a positive feedback loop of satisfaction. Motivation and self-esteem. People with a strong sense of self-worth are grounded in their principles and values. They can also defend themselves when opposed because others' opinions won't sway them. This builds up their trust and confidence in themselves, leading them to trust their instincts more often than others. People with high self-esteem are more dignified. They can enjoy their lives more and be less affected by others' opinions. However, there is a range of narcissism where they become arrogant and egotistical. Motivation is a key factor in not only keeping your morale up, but also in maintaining goals. Motivated people have high self-control, and if outside circumstances change, they can quickly alter their motivation accordingly. Boost your motivation by improving your self-esteem. To do your best work, tell yourself you're a skilled professional and nobody does that job better. Be proud of your skills, and people around you will start to notice your incredible abilities. You'll be motivated to work hard for more effective results. Motivation versus discipline. I see discipline as what to do and motivation as why to do. Discipline has its roots in Latin, but the meaning is to teach. Self-discipline is teaching your self-control so you don't let temptations dictate your actions. Evolution has changed the meaning of survival. It is no longer about simply surviving, but thriving. For this to happen, we need to discipline ourselves to adopt new behaviors. When motivation starts to fail, discipline is what gets you through. At the end of the day, I think the key is finding ways to link things that seem tedious or pointless with feeling good. Motivation is the force that helps you overcome obstacles and accomplish your goals. It's also the same force that can help you through tough times. Motivation is a lifelong skill that can be improved by self-awareness and strategies. The more you know about your drivers and levers, the better the results you want will come in your life. Self-discipline is the ability to correct and regulate your behavior to improve. It's more of an emotional and instinctual process. Self-discipline helps you stay on your course after you fall off the path. It ensures you do what is right at the moment, even when it might be tempting to do something else. The more self-discipline muscle is used, the stronger it gets. Motivation and self-discipline work together to help you achieve what you want. Motivation can be your initial source of inspiration, while self-discipline will keep you going when it starts to run out. You find your motivation when you ask yourself, what do you want to avoid and why? McClellan's 3 motivators. Achievement. People who are motivated by achievement work best with complicated projects. This type of person also refers to work by themselves and with other high achievers. Give feedback to achievers in a fair way. They want to know what they're doing right and wrong so they can improve. Affiliation. People motivated by affiliation work best in a team environment. They also dislike uncertainty and risk, so try to assign projects they'll enjoy when possible. When providing feedback to someone, it's important to be personal. It would be best if you focused on their positive qualities, then go into more detail about the aspects of their job they can improve. They also prefer when they are praised in private rather than publicly. Power. Those who need a lot of power will do their best when they are in charge and doing competitive tasks. They might also be very good at convincing other people and negotiating. To provide feedback to these team members, be direct and ensure that you keep them motivated by helping them find further success. Chapter 5. Empathy. Often think you're feeling unheard? Try empathy. It'll help you communicate with friends and family better. A recent study has shown that feeling listened to and understood is a human's fundamental need. Empathy helps us get in touch with our emotions and gives us an emotional understanding of ourselves and others. Recognizing and understanding one another allows us to interact, help, and support one another. It is difficult to comfort someone in need if we cannot understand pain. It is possible to become more empathetic. Empathy cannot be inherited, but it is a learned skill that can be improved with time and practice. We can extend this type of empathy remotely to people we feel distant from. The book Born for Love describes empathy this way. Empathy is the ability to stand in another's shoes and feel what it's like there. Your primary feelings are more related to the other person than your own. It is hard to feel or experience empathy if we are consumed with our reactions. Awareness of one's own emotions is essential before feeling empathy for someone else. The 4 qualities of empathy are: being able to see the world as others see it, being non-judgmental, understanding another's feelings and communicating your understanding of that person's feelings. Empathy consists of 4 qualities that are active when someone is being empathetic. These qualities include being peacefully centered within oneself and accurately mirroring the other person's feelings without taking on their emotions. When empathy is done well, the person feels validated, their emotional turmoil subsides, and they are ready to take action. Many people confuse empathy with sympathy or a feeling stopper. Sometimes people dismiss your experience because it reminds them of their unresolved issues and affects them emotionally, so they withdraw quickly. It can be challenging to connect with someone when you're feeling an emotion that may interfere. However, if you work through the emotion and show empathy, the other person will feel more connected to you. Connecting with others is essential in relationships. Empathy creates a bridge that strengthens trust and connection. However, sympathy can sometimes be limited to just one person's experiences. This can lead to misunderstandings about the person's perspective and overall connection to the world. Many people are afraid to show empathy for fear of being responsible for another person's emotions. But it's important to acknowledge that your presence alone can make a huge difference. Caring is connecting and supporting others. It is not taking responsibility for their emotions. If it did, we'd be so overwhelmed. Our first reaction to someone's pain is to try to make them feel better. Empathy does not require us to be responsible for another person's feelings. Empathy is the ability to understand someone else's perspective and form a connection with them. It allows us to support others by allowing them to explore and feel their emotions without judgment. Stages and factors of empathy. Empathy is crucial for emotional and social development. If you want to help people in need, empathy will push you to do that. Although it was thought that empathy does not develop in young children, research has shown otherwise. Studies have found that they respond to others' distress. Stages of empathy development. Newborns. Newborns often exhibit signs of distress when hearing other infants cry. This suggests a precursor to empathy and a predisposition for others' negative emotions rather than an unthinking reaction to noise. Infants. Infants are known to show care towards others. However, as every parent knows, they have a hard time controlling their emotions and often become overwhelmed by the feelings of others. Toddlers. Between 14 and 36 months of age, children begin to show signs of emotional empathy as they develop a complete understanding of the situation. They will apologize and be concerned for others when they see them in danger. This is just the beginning of their empathy for others as it grows throughout their life. Early childhood. As children begin their early school years, they start to see the sense of other feelings and their own. Kids as young as 3 to 4 start to see themselves and others in terms of emotions and desires. Middle childhood into adulthood. Empathy progresses from middle childhood to adulthood, forming one part of the prosocial personality trait. Empathic concern and perspective-taking motivate prosocial behavior. Factors of empathy development. Genetic. There is evidence that inheritance plays a large part in the development of empathy, explaining around 1/3 to 1/2 of the variation found. Mimicry and imitation. Facial mimicry begins in infancy. While the exact link between it and internalizing others' emotional experience is unknown, there is some correlation between the two. Neurodevelopmental factors. The brain interprets other people's emotions using mirror neurons, which may allow us to connect our own experience to theirs. Parenting. Early interactions with parents and caregivers are powerful. As an infant, more time spent in play leads to more empathy in adulthood. Studies have shown that parent-child relationships are vital in developing empathy. This is most likely due to feelings of trust and safety. Temperament. An essential factor in how people develop empathy is personality. For example, shy and fearful children seem less likely to display empathy in unfamiliar situations. Why work on your empathy skills? Empathy is a psychological concept that describes understanding and recognizes others' feelings. The capacity to empathize leads to well-informed decisions in life, which helps in romantic relationships and parenting, among other things. There are a lot of benefits to empathizing with others, like predicting behavior, avoiding errors, and making stronger connections. Some examples. People's ability to read the feeling of others can help them become more outgoing and popular in their childhood and adulthood. Increased empathy will help improve our relationships in the workplace, which will, in turn, help us be better workers and managers. Many studies have found that empathy is a strong predictor of the success of a marriage. Partners who can empathize with one another are often in a more compatible long-term relationship, and those with lower levels of empathy may find their relationship disintegrates. Empathy makes better parents. It helps them be more resilient and better able to face the challenges of raising children. To stop global disasters, we need to extend our compassion as individuals. This will allow us to tackle the problems of climate change, pandemics, and war. Strategies to develop empathy. Our ability to empathize with others can be developed by making small adjustments in our daily lives. Ask yourself questions and have open conversations. By doing more of the things that make us empathic, we will get better at being empathic. Cultivate curiosity. Develop an interest in the people you meet. This can be done by spending more time with them and asking about their lives. Follow people with different backgrounds on social media and listen to what they have to say. When you talk with them, recognize the subjects that make them feel anything. Take a trip to new places and enjoy the local culture. Step out of your comfort zone. Explore your surroundings while traveling or learning something new. It is often best to be out of your comfort zone. Try reaching out for help if you don't know where you're going or accept how helpless you may feel. Humility is an excellent way to gain empathy. Receive feedback. Ask those close to you for feedback to improve your active listening and relationship skills. They may be able to point out missed opportunities. Examine your biases. It can be difficult to see eye to eye with those from different backgrounds. To cultivate empathy and understanding, try getting to know people from other backgrounds by talking about what matters most to them. It's important to acknowledge our similarities while also being interested in the differences we share. Consider donating to charities that provide support to other communities. Walk in the shoes of others. Spend time with people, learn about them, their culture, and what matters most to them. Understand that different people have different lives and worries. To better understand the human condition, reach out more often, even to those you don't usually speak with but see in your daily life. Don't shy away from difficult conversations. To challenge or be challenged by alternative points of understanding, it is crucial to listen, don't interrupt, and be open to new ideas. If you've offended someone with something you said, apologize. Research the source of their anger and try to understand where they are coming from before doing so. Helpful activities and exercises. Random acts of kindness. When someone does something kind for you, say thank you. You might see them again one day and have the opportunity to make an even nicer gesture for them. To positively impact others, you can find simple and easy ways to do good for them throughout your day. Mindfulness. One of the benefits of mindfulness is the ability to shift our focus from ourselves to an objective point of view. This technique is said to allow us to experience another person's feelings. Role play. Role play is an activity that provides a safe and comfortable way for people to learn about how others may react in difficult situations. Practicing these situations can also help build empathy and understanding among groups. Chapter 6. Communication Skills. What is effective communication? It is crucial to communicate with people effectively. Digital platforms provide a wider variety of communication, but getting your point across the way you want can be challenging. Effective communication calls for the unambiguous and comprehensive conveying of information. Did you know that poor communication has a significant financial impact on organizations? According to one study, surveyed companies with at least 100,000 employees in the United States and the United Kingdom lost $62.4 million per year on average due to poor communication. Research shows that businesses led by effective communicators have higher investment returns than those with less effective communicators. Being a good communicator in the workplace and your personal life often involves 3 skills: clarity, empathy, and understanding. Effective communication is when both the sender and the receiver of a message feel satisfied. Communication can take many forms, including verbal, written, visual, and listening. It can occur in person or on the internet. Why is effective communication important? Trust. In order to be a responsive and attentive team member, one must be able to listen to others' opinions and engage in meaningful discussions. Trust is essential for people you work with and regularly interact with. One benefit of communication is that it helps build trust with others, and you can use communication to set goals and accomplish tasks together. Team building. As teams grow in size, people need to be able to communicate with one another and know who's responsible for what aspects of their work. Communication and transparent expectations make it less likely that someone misses a task or doesn't know what they are expected to do. Team communication can have a positive effect on a work environment. Not only does it improve the general mood and morale, but it also helps create trust, loyalty, and respect among team members. Better relationships. When you take time to listen, you'll be better able to respect the other person's opinion. This will make you feel like you're being heard and valued for your input. In business, it's crucial to keep customers satisfied and retain them. A good way of doing this is conversing with your customers and making sure they have a positive impression. Increased job satisfaction. A trusted colleague with a good relationship with his peers at work is more likely to be satisfied with his job. The environment you create for your team employees will affect their engagement in their roles. Increase productivity and engagement. People need the right tools to work confidently. Providing them with this information will make them more productive while they're at work. Engaged staff are less distracted by other workplace issues and can focus on their tasks, improving productivity. Problem solving. Communication is crucial in solving problems. You should make sure everyone is heard and every voice has an equal opportunity to speak, with the process of coming to a solution that everyone agrees to. Handle conflict. Open communication is the key to preventing conflict in any environment, workplace or home. If people can't understand each other, working together and creating a productive atmosphere will be hard. Remember, no one will ever be a perfect communicator. Regardless of your ability, you can continually develop your skills. The 7 C's of communication. Clear. Firstly, it's essential to be clear in your message. The recipient should know why they are receiving the message and what you want them to do. Secondly, avoid confusing jargon and focus on clearly communicating your point. Using simple language and structure will also help your message be more unmistakable. Correct. It's essential to be accurate in both information and language to maintain credibility. If not, readers will become distracted, undermining effectiveness. The right words are worth 1,000 pictures. Ensure your messages are clear, concise, and free of errors. This will show that you care about your audience and you'll build trust with them. Complete. Having a complete message is often important in communication. When communicating, give the recipient all the information they need for you to be understood and for them to come to your conclusion. Things should be as easy as possible for the recipient. For example, if you are issuing a call to action, provide explicit guidance on what they should do. Increasingly, it's common to include links and other details in communications like FAQs. This helps audiences get a complete picture without overwhelming them with too much information. Concrete. When crafting a response, it's important to ensure it is specific and logical. Make sure that each component of your message builds on the last section and reinforces the points being made. Try to make your arguments based on solid facts, opinions from credible sources, and irrefutable data. Solid content might be difficult for some people to understand. To make it more relatable, you can provide examples of how they fit the message and how it applies to them. Concise. If communicating a message, be sure to keep it short and straightforward. More words do not always make for a better message. Stick to the points of the topic at hand and avoid going off on unnecessary tangents. Courteous. Be polite and respectful in your communications with others. To ensure you are courteous, consider the reader's perspective while composing your messages. Considered and coherent. To ensure your communications are coherent, you should have a logical flow and consistent tone, language, and style. Consistency is key when it comes to delivering multiple messages. It should not matter if your communication were an email, a blog post, or just a discussion in a team chat. Your message should be coherent and readable across these mediums. How to improve your communication skills. Consider your audience. Who are you communicating with? When crafting a message, think about the audience and ensure they are the ones you are communicating with. Awareness of your audience's age, race, ethnicity, gender, marital status, and education level is essential for getting your message across effectively. If you are telling your family about your engagement, there are many ways to do so. You could host a gathering, send them photos over a group chat, surprise them in conversation over dinner 2 weeks later, or post on social media. The best way to tell them will depend on your personal preference and family dynamics. Be an attentive listener. Listening is an essential element of effective communication. Active listening means understanding what the speaker is trying to say without them having to be effective in speaking. People often ignore what you say when you speak. They direct their attention towards something else or don't give full attention to your information. People watching television, playing a game, or working on an assignment would have difficulty listening to someone with full attention. Listening actively can help create a stronger connection between team members. It helps build trust because you can better understand the speaker's current mood and intentions. Take the speaker seriously and listen intently to what's being said. Keep your attention focused on them and what they are saying. Listen for any gestures or words that might hint at confusion or trouble understanding. Then ask the speaker if you don't understand. Pay attention to the speaker and maintain a proper body posture. Nonverbal communication is the key. Body language is important in conversations. It can help indicate your confidence, openness, and even how courageous you are. When a person's speaking to you, you want them to be able to concentrate on what you're saying and not lose focus looking at your screen. When speaking, nonverbal communication is essential to help build rapport, and it's often a more effective way of delivering your message. It's important to pay attention to body language in any interaction. It provides insight to the message being sent. Be relaxed. Communication is essential in any work environment. Stress and anxiety can ruin it and make you feel close to your audience. To avoid this, practice feeling at ease and focusing on communication's positive aspects. If you remain calm and in control during a conversation, both you and the other party will be able to understand your discussion better. This will ensure that your thoughts come across clearly and don't backfire later. Inform. Communicating is a skill that should be developed and consistently practiced. It's crucial to prepare appropriately for a conversation. Without proper preparation, the conversation may not be as effective, and your audience may not find out about the key aspects you want them to focus on or remember. It's helpful to inform your audience of the conversation you'll be having before your presentation. Before presenting, tell them why it's relevant and important. Be visual. Visualizing your information helps you process and retain the data much faster. Humans can remember pictures for a more extended period than words do. There's an enhanced ability not just to see, but remember pictures. To be an effective communicator in the 21st century, you should consider using charts, maps, images, and graphs to convey your information. Show empathy. Showing empathy means understanding other people's points of view and not getting angry when your point of view clashes with others. People need to respect the opinions of others and admire their effort. Competing against them is not healthy because it causes hostility between the people who compete with each other. Statements like, "I know what you're trying to say, but," or "I think," would help others feel they were listened to and spur their morale. Give and receive feedback. Feedback is an essential part of learning and growth. It helps us perceive our weaknesses and take action to improve ourselves. It's important to be open-minded when receiving feedback. Just because someone is critical of something doesn't mean they disrespect you. It just means their opinion is different from yours. Utilize your time sensibly. Don't waste time sitting alone and eating during coffee or lunch breaks. Instead, use your time with your colleagues to understand them better. By understanding your team members, you're better able to understand their preferences and motivations. This will help you to project your needs more effectively and to build a stronger rapport with them. Chapter 7. Build and manage relationships. Win friends. What is relationship building all about? Relationships are essential in any community. Communities need to work together to be effective. This can be accomplished by inviting people and encouraging them to bring their ideas into the mix. Caring about people is an essential aspect of our lives. We care about the success of others in their journeys to get there because their success helps us succeed in our work. Working on your relationship with team members requires constant attention and effort. When companies build relationships with employees, they reap benefits on an organizational level. They can improve job satisfaction and boost employee career success. With friends, you should consider their feelings, ask them their opinion, and value the relationship. If someone points out behavior that bothers them and won't stop, you can tell them how it makes you feel. Reciprocity and mutual respect are two of the most important aspects in a thriving relationship. Relationships are a priority in today's world. Our relationships have a significant impact on how we feel in the world. People who find positive things in their job, family, or other relationships are more likely to feel optimistic about their life overall. Why do we need to build and sustain relationships? Let's consider a real-life example. If you want to organize a block party, it would be best to enlist the help of a few neighbors. They'll provide excellent input and feedback and supply your needs with a little legwork. Having friends in City Hall might help you get your block party permit. If it's not an option, consider building relationships with government officials. If you are close with somebody, they might donate some food to your block party. You can also ask a friend who is personal to become a clown. To have a successful block party, you want as many people from the neighborhood to attend as possible. People who know someone on the planning committee are more likely to show up and socialize with their neighbors. It's easier to plan a block party when you know more people. Building relationships with people is essential to build a community. One must create one-to-one relationships for others to become involved. Many organizations need to build relationships to get support. This is the most successful way of building these relationships. Community plays a vital role in helping people feel fulfilled. It's important to have a support system that helps you through tough times and encourages you to try your best. Every relationship is unique and should be cherished. It would be best if you took the time to meet and learn about the people you encounter daily. Relationships help you to organize a group and build anything from a new playground to a town. Building friendships can lead to many unexpected benefits. It's worth the investment from more robust business networks to more productive conversations. You are at the center. Sometimes you have to make the first move. Otherwise, you risk not getting a chance to talk with someone who matters to you and wasting time waiting for someone else. When do you build and sustain relationships? You do it all the time. When you take the time to ask someone who's working for you about their thoughts on a topic, it can improve your relationship and make you feel closer. I like to think of relationships as the groundwork. When planning a project with a big budget, you need to include time for building relationships. People need time to build trust. Trust is an integral part of cooperation, and it's seen when people have difficulty functioning together because trust is missing. It can be seen in disagreements that seem to erupt over no important reason, which means people are more comfortable being risk-averse. People want a return on their investment. They have to feel like you know them as a person, understand their interests, and will not let them down. It's best to build relationships before the need arises, as you'll be better positioned to offer advice and help if a conflict arises. How do you build relationships? There are 4 phases of a meaningful relationship. 1. The connection. The connection between friends often starts with dinner or an introduction. A chance encounter may also lead to 2 people getting together. When you become interested in the other person, you are urged to take things further. You may exchange business cards or email addresses or phone numbers. In my experience, most business connections seem to fall through. However, some relationships are follow up on more than others. Continuous interaction. During this phase, you foster an authentic, open relationship with each other. Email back and forth and send messages through messaging apps like WhatsApp to develop a sense of rapport. Be sure to meet in person for coffee, lunch, or other small talks from time to time. If the other person is not interested in pursuing a relationship with you, it's best to leave things alone. 3. Trust. Trust is built between 2 parties when one has been consistent in their behavior and shown reliability. This creates the necessary conditions for a relationship to grow in positive ways and flourish. Trust takes time to build and requires a level of continued action on your part. Trust is built slowly. It takes time to build up the level of trust a person needs to get the job done. A person's success with acquiring new supporters will depend on how quickly they can build confidence in their early interactions and start introducing others who can help them negotiate through this challenging process. Phase 3 is about displaying the positive attributes of your character. You're a real deal who doesn't bluff and just talks. 4. Collaboration. Collaboration is the final stage of relationship building. In this stage, 2 people agree to work together on something long-term. One way to increase your chances for collaboration is to show potential partnership opportunities. This can include representatives from the person's industry and previous experience with similar enterprises. For instance, success in financial journeys begins with attracting smaller investors. Success can then be replicated by consistently adding value to the returns. Investors will provide more significant investments once trust is gained from the smaller investments made. Because of their trust and confidence in the founder, companies that invest in the company can generate hundreds of millions of dollars simultaneously with minimal risk. How do you sustain relationships? Don't rush the process. The mistake people make is not focusing on building relationships before transactions. They should take the time to be sure the other person will trust them before asking for a collaboration. People need to warm up to your company before they are willing to invest in it, because otherwise, they would not want their reputation on the line. Moving too fast in a relationship will make you seem pushy and anxious. It would be best if you took it slow, easing into the process of knowing someone slowly to build trust. Hold back from the ask. As an entrepreneur, managing cash can be a challenging task. Business owners can identify with this challenge because they need to stay on the right track while making ends meet. It's hard to ask for money without establishing trust. However, by taking time to establish trust and being introduced to other important contacts, you can get more people on board. Everyone in the room is worth talking to. Silicon Valley has a love affair with the wealthy. They would do anything to shake their hand, take a selfie, or ask them for financial advice. Unfortunately, many people bypass others in the room just to get the attention of the billionaires. In the process, they miss out on incredible opportunities. Be authentic, and people will pick up on your vibe. People like to talk to genuine people, and you never know when this interaction will lead to something big. Chapter 8. The Art of Charisma and Influence. Have you ever met someone with an innate and unique personality that made you feel immediately comfortable? Many people possess the talents and qualities of highly charismatic people, but do not necessarily have the charisma themselves. There are various ways to build charisma that can increase one's social standing. So what exactly is charisma? Sociologist Max Weber describes it as a supernatural, superhuman quality typically given to people with either extravagant wealth or exceptional ability. 3 elements of charisma. Presence. When someone is talking to you and they aren't entirely focused, it can make you feel slightly annoyed. People today have a more challenging time being present due to the prevalence of smartphones. People rely on their screens, prioritizing one world over the other. Whether people are sitting at restaurants or at their desks, many can't seem to break away from the screen and actually engage with one another. One way you can be different is by making sure that you are fully present with the people you're communicating with. Charisma is more about the other person than yourself. Being charismatic is all about making the other person feel important and unique. If someone wants to be more charismatic, they should ensure that their interactions with others leave them feeling good about themselves. Some people say that charisma is a trait that an outgoing and extroverted person can only display. However, individuals with more introverted personalities can also display it in certain situations. It's difficult to fake a connection with people. Those in the social circle can easily sense that you're faking your interest and disregarding you. To connect with people, you must be present. It takes effort, but you become better at focusing on someone else during a conversation. Ways to develop your charismatic presence. Ground yourself in the here and now. The little exercise is designed to bring awareness to yourself when you are too distracted. Some ways to achieve this are through meditation, yoga, or using whatever techniques work best for you. Just focus on your breath or your feet. Don't spend time thinking about any thoughts that pop into your head. Just follow the sensation of what you're feeling at the moment, and more often than not, it will be enough to bring you back into this moment. Find a comfortable spot. Finding a way to be comfortable during a conversation can help you feel less distracted and more focused on the person you're working with. Feeling attractive and stylish will make you feel more confident, which can lead to coming off as charismatic. You should wear clothes that fit well and feel comfortable. You can also increase your feeling of comfort by getting enough sleep, abstaining from caffeine, and adjusting the temperature to a comfortable level. Unplug. Your devices can be put on silent and hidden from view when you're in conversation. This helps reduce distractions and phone-related anxieties that often surface during conversations. Putting your phone away sends a message to the person you're with that you have their full attention and are not distracted. Maintain eye contact. Eye contact is a critical way to make people feel more comfortable and successfully draws out people's qualities. Eye contact is a great way to improve interactions with people. It leaves the receiver of your gaze more positive about you and makes them seem more appealing. Use body language. One way to convey presence is through body language. Nodding your head indicates that you agree with a particular person or the general perspective of the conversation. Avoid overcompensating for power to avoid being perceived as trying too hard or agreeing with someone. This will decrease their perception of your likability and authority. For this reason, nod at appropriate times. You'll need to listen to know when a nod makes sense genuinely. Don't think about your response when someone else is still talking. We all have this tendency to interrupt and talk over others. When in conversation, it is beneficial to take a moment longer to think about what you will say next. It's important not to rush through your responses. Pauses help you gather your thoughts and think of what you want to say. For nonverbal signals to be effective, you must ensure that the person is tuned in and engaged. Power. Power is associated with a person's ability to affect the world around them, whether through influence over others or power of authority. Power is the number one attraction for most people, no matter how much money they have. Influential people give power users a sense of security and safety they might not otherwise have. People value people who are confident and have power over others, but you may seem less powerful when you don't have the requisite physical cues. However, if you are too powerful, you might come off as aloof or arrogant, but that's okay if you still offer warmth and presence. Ways to develop your charismatic power. Boost your confidence. Confidence is a state of mind. Everyone needs to reach a point in their life where they are comfortable with themselves and their actions. Power can be defined as confidence, which leads to power over others. Mastery provides a sense of accomplishment. Deepening your understanding of a particular subject will make you feel more prepared to tackle any situation. Know a little about a lot. One should seek to know about a variety of subjects. A person with diverse knowledge will seem to be more intelligent. How do you gain a wide breadth of knowledge? It's simple. Read as much as possible. Stay in shape. Your body shape is one of the first things people notice when they meet you. A fit and muscular physique signal other people's brains about your strength and ability to dominate and protect. The perception of being healthy and fit can reduce anxiety and help men earn more money in the workplace. Assume power poses. A power pose is a pose that people perform to show positivity and confidence. This is most commonly seen at the end of a victory celebration, but one could achieve this pose daily. Some common positions for conveying power are arm akimbo, leaning back in a chair with hands behind your head, or standing with your hands on your hips. Stand up and lean in to speak if you're at a meeting. This will let others know you are ready to get down to business. Take charge of your environment. Familiarity with our surroundings can give us a sense of control, which makes us feel confident. This is why organizations sometimes fight over where negotiations will be held before they even start negotiating. Waiting for your first time in a new place can be difficult, especially if it's unfamiliar. When you set your sights on meeting with someone you don't know well, try doing something unexpected to take control of the room and show deference. Try moving a salt shaker or your water glass for a moment to make yourself feel more confident. It tells your subconscious that you have some control over what's happening around you. You might be surprised at what you can accomplish. Speak less and slowly. You don't need to take up as much space in the conversation. More powerful people tend to speak less than those of lower status. Be reserved about your conversations when you have high status. When you have formalized power and influence, it's critical to be brief when offering a statement or idea, as this will increase your credibility and authority. Influential people are not afraid of silence and understand that awkwardness will sometimes come when they aren't talking just because other people might be uncomfortable. This silent treatment is used by interrogators, job interviewers, and negotiators to gain information. Speaking slowly is a way to take up space in the conversation. It's a way to convey power, thoughtfulness, and calmness. The basic rule of human nature is that people will speak slowly if they don't want their opinions to be ignored. You'd be surprised at how fast you talk. Power doesn't necessarily mean being a jerk, but it does require being warm and present to gain trust. Work on developing your charisma, even if you aren't naturally charismatic to begin with. With time and practice, you'll be able to draw people to you. Warmth. When you achieve warmth, you become approachable, caring, and empathetic. People around you will feel comfortable and at ease. Achieving warmth is a rewarding experience that fulfills the basic human need to be understood, acknowledged, and cared for. Warmth is comforting and reassuring. Even though we wish to be independent, we still want to feel safe and loved. Warmth is one of humanity's most important virtues. It facilitates getting people to notice, though it's not the most vital part in ascertaining how to be charismatically effective. A person with warmth and power will be perceived as powerful, extremely skilled at self-promotion, and eager for praise. People can be tricked into thinking that you're present with them, but warmth is the hardest to fake. Warmth requires the personality of a genuine person. If a man is a man of warmth, he feels that even if the interaction doesn't provide what he wants, it's still worthwhile. There are two essential aspects of a charismatic personality. The first is the emotion itself, personal charisma. The second is the actions that people notice in their interactions with you. This is personally relevant because without personal charisma and magnetism, it's hard to help other people feel comfortable and confident in your presence. There are two main ways to develop your inner warmth. Practice gratitude. Grateful people are more optimistic and happier than those who aren't. Studies show that gratitude increases positivity and is linked to a more prosperous life. Find moments you are feeling grateful and write down what you are grateful for. This will help your perspective on things in general, leading to a relaxed state of contentment. Develop your empathy. Empathy is a powerful tool for developing personal charisma. It helps leaders understand how their followers feel and allows the two to work together to achieve their goals. Becoming a good listener is key to being an empathetic person. It builds strong relationships with people and brings them back to their normal, happy selves. How to convey warmth to others. Think of yourself as the host. When guests come to your house, they must be comfortable. Think about how you would feel in the same situations and try to help the people in the way you want to be helped. Lead with a sincere compliment. Sometimes a compliment can help heal a relationship. A simple compliment could go a long way in helping build trust and promote positive connections. Learn how to be more accepting of compliments too. It might just come in handy. Speak with a warm tone. Smiling when you speak is easy to give your voice warmth. The instant that you do, it will sound warmer. When speaking on the phone, avoiding the use of feelings for your tone is often helpful. However, if you're talking to someone who isn't physically present with you, whatever emotions you share in your voice will be conveyed to them regardless. Mirror their body language. Mirroring techniques can lead to subconscious trust and empathy. Mirroring body language is vital to make yourself appear more credible. By mirroring your conversation partner, you make them feel more at ease, leading to higher levels of trust. Another way to make mirroring look less obvious is to let a few seconds lapse before you move into a mirrored position. Mirroring another person's body language when angry can make them angrier rather than less. Use kind eyes. Some people feel warm, accepted, and understood by others when they are met with kind eyes. Looking into someone's eyes makes them feel more comfortable and trust you more because it allows you to see the inner goodness in someone. There are ways to enhance the eyes so they are kinder, such as with warm contact lenses. When you stare people down, you might come across as aggressive. It can also be seen as intimidating. To look more approachable and friendly, relax your face while focusing on the person's eyes. Smile. Smiling is an easy way to convey warmth. If you smile at someone, they will be more receptive and you will feel warmer yourself. A recent study showed that smiling while feeling down will make you less unhappy. And because of this, psychologists recommend people smile to put their minds in a warmth mindset. Smiling is great for your self-esteem. It makes you more attractive to others and shows that you have good intentions. Characteristics of charismatic leadership. Communication. To be a good leader, it's important to be able to communicate in both one-on-one meetings and group settings. You should listen to your team members and ensure that the message you are trying to relay has relevance, clarity, and understanding for your employees. Body language. The charisma of a leader often comes from body language. A charismatic leader is open and positive and makes eye contact. They also introduce themselves to new acquaintances with joy. Humility. Leaders who demonstrate humility are active and inclusive, promoting diversity and inclusion in their workplace. This type of leadership will show employees how their contributions improve the company's strategic interests and that they are valued workforce members. Substance. Charisma is good, but it has to have a substance. It will garner attention, time, and trust from your employees. Maturity. Charismatic leaders who have substantial personality display maturity and character. Leaders should take the time to listen to their audience and show them what they know in a way that appeals to them. They are accepting and respectful of all individuals, regardless of their identities. In a mature leader, nothing goes unnoticed. They learn from their mistakes and never miss out on opportunities to learn from others. This is the mark of a mature person. One cannot act maturely without accepting their role as an adult and refraining from acting recklessly. Confidence. Every charismatic leader has a high self-confidence level. They must know who they are and do not try to be somebody else. Charismatic leaders must be able to connect with their followers to get them on the same page. They can find ways of doing this, including implementing a reward and recognition program. Impeccable listening skills. When you talk to charismatic leaders, they will listen to what you have to say, and their focus is on you rather than their cell phone. Leaders must be patient to listen to their employees' concerns with utter diligence and without judgment. Chapter 9. Dealing with hate and criticism. Hate versus criticism. Judging is inevitable. It doesn't matter what your choices are. You'll always get some unfriendly opinions. People will judge where you live and how you want to live your life. Sometimes people project their insecurities onto you, and you'll have to manage them. Criticism, in most cases, is helpful and often provides a rational way of improvement. The critic's comments inspire change, not tear you down. They offer advice to make your work better as a whole. On the other hand, hate is a persistent and irrational feeling of anger, hatred, or hostility based on a perceived cultural, ethnic, religious, or gender identity. Hatred can hurt the mental health of victims because it causes them to spend time and energy thinking about the problem while they carry out their routine activities. Haters will use a character attack to try and diminish the opposing position or person. The type of comment is rarely helpful because it seeks to hurt opponents instead of having a constructive discussion. There are two types of criticism: constructive criticism, which is helpful to the person being evaluated, and destructive criticism, used to point out mistakes and failures. Giving someone criticism is not always bad. Criticism can assess an individual's performance against their standards or an organization's. There are 3 essential requirements for constructive feedback to be productive: a trustworthy source, the right audience, and time. People need to give criticism in a way that shows care for others. It should be targeted at the specific points of weakness and have strong suggestions for improvement. Criticism should align with the recipient's emotions and motivations to maximize influence on the receiver. When organizational leaders don't understand how to criticize their employees effectively, it can make people uncomfortable approaching them for help. And when coaches criticize without positive intent, they end up doing things like throwing basketballs at the young adults they're supposed to be mentoring. Recognizing different types of criticism can make it easier for you to take feedback and make appropriate changes. Your inner critic. Some people have a voice that criticizes and judges them, even when the judgments might not be accurate. This voice can cause a lot of stress for the person and lower their self-esteem. Self-doubt and self-consciousness can take a destructive toll on the self-esteem of individuals. The inner critic can undermine the accomplishments and leave feelings of inadequacy or guilt. It's also a struggle to silence this voice in your head. Self-worth can be challenging, so people often face inner mental conflicts. The challenge is figuring out how to overcome the negative thoughts and reject the self-critical voice of criticism as a response. Self-criticism can result from difficult personal experiences, social, cultural, and familial influences, or a side effect of certain diagnosable mental health conditions. Sometimes, the nagging sensation of an inner critic is due to depression or anxiety. People experiencing these conditions sometimes feel chronically inadequate and are highly critical of themselves. Many people seek mental health care to overcome feelings of doubt and low self-esteem. A therapist can help to root out irrational inner critics. Strategies to confront and overcome criticism. Make your criticism your fuel. Negative feedback is an opportunity to show and prove yourself. Use it as fuel for your fire. Don't take it personally. Criticism may be uncomfortable. If you feel offended when someone criticizes your cooking, that sentiment is not helpful and should be avoided. People are not criticizing you. They are merely projecting their own flaws onto you. Ignore false criticism. This is the most effective way to deal with criticism. Sometimes we are criticized without any reason. If it's undeserved, ignoring it entirely can be the most successful strategy for dealing with it. Criticism is insignificant, and people should not worry about it. It is essential to remain silent and detached when being criticized. By remaining silent, we show others that we are dignified. Be open. Feedback is a must for improving relationships, and to take advantage of criticism, you need to be open to it. Listen carefully, and do not automatically assume the person who criticizes you has bad intentions. Criticism is a part of life, and it's better to get feedback now rather than later. If you are unsure if the criticism is meant to be hurtful, restate what was said so that you can confirm that you both understand. Then, thank the person for their input. Watch your body language. You should be aware of your body language. If you cross your arms and avoid eye contact, it can significantly affect others in the conversation. You should also make sure to breathe slowly and know when you are too stressed to be considered a productive member of the conversation. Although criticism can be tough to take sometimes, being open with your emotions will help you hear the truth more. Schedule a follow-up. Developing a plan for your boss will be well received. It demonstrates you're serious about improvement and should lead to future improvements. Managers are receptive to feedback in this light. They would like to feel like they are a partner in the process of dealing with employees, and engaging in a discussion is an excellent platform for this. Stating your case in a calm and reasonable tone will help the other speaker understand you better. It is healthy for a company to nurture the culture of feedback. Employees should be sure to figure out why they may be more sensitive when receiving criticism. It could simply be down to the individual's inner dialogue or go deeper. Try not to let the opinions of others affect you. Criticism from your coworkers can help you improve. It doesn't have to stop at feedback. Take every opportunity to watch for your mistakes and learn. Focus on the road, not the wall. Criticism should be taken as a chance to improve your work. If you hear nothing but compliments, it's suggested to ask your clients how they can help you better. Keep your head up and lose self-doubt. It's crucial to believe in yourself and know that you have the power to create an optimistic outcome. Focus on what you can do instead of what you can't, and be confident. Chapter 10. Tips and tricks to help you get started. Be interesting. People want a wide range of social skills. That includes knowing how to start conversations, move the conversation along smoothly, and then change the topic when necessary. You must know how to make things exciting and how to wrap things up in an elegant way. When you find yourself in a conversation going nowhere or has run its course, say that you appreciate the time they took to speak with you and then end the exchange. It's all about your demeanor while giving this simple phrase. You can smile and make it seem like it was never weird to talk in the first place. Make small talk. People will only continue to grow their relationship with others when they allow for idle chit-chat. Small talk is integral to personal relationships and can lead to the long-term development of connections. It shows that you are a well-rounded person rather than someone boring or uninterested. Overcome shyness. Though we are all inexperienced at times, we can still feel more confident in social situations when we feel prepared. Preparing for a network is not so different from preparing for your first day of work or school. The fear of new situations is a barrier for many people. You can improve your confidence with time and effort. The invisibility cloak technique is a technique that helps users minimize their fear of social situations. It works by imagining something covers up uncomfortable or embarrassing parts of oneself. Applying positive psychology is a technique that helps people live more effectively by thinking more constructively. If you want to change how you behave to impact your personality, it's unlikely that your character will change the way it is on the inside. Your behavior will ultimately be what changes. One of the quickest ways to eliminate shyness is to surround yourself with people who will not judge you. Almost anyone can overcome shyness. All it takes is a mental shift to rid yourself of the emotion. Keep your confidence up. It's a skill that you can learn and improve every day. Master group conversations. Being in a group can be stressful. The unpredictability of people that may show up and the uncertainty of how to behave can lead to an awkward moment or two. It is normal to feel anxious when you are socializing with new people. Your brain is actually preparing you for your conversation based on the cues from other people and how they interact with others. With the correct tools, however, such as training in communication skills and a positive attitude, one can be confident attending a party. The number one thing you can do to make great impressions in group settings is to be proactive. When you attend a group event, get out there and start contributing. Going out of your way to be rude is not a great way to present yourself, and it can backfire. It's better to focus on your behavior and create the impressions you want people to have about you. One way to initiate a conversation is by bringing up trending topics on social media. It's easy to get the ball rolling in a group conversation and allows you to be proactive. Be more likable. Eye contact is another simple technique that is proven to have a beneficial outcome. As an important tool, it can be a shame that people often neglect to use eye contact. It's important to understand how it affects our communication and how we can effectively use it to convey different messages. Here's a fun exercise to help them improve their technique. Try holding eye contact for a second longer than you normally would. Do this with people in your everyday life, like waiters, baristas, and counters. Using eye contact in your interactions will help build rapport and make the person you speak with feel more connected. It can be difficult at first, but once you've mastered it, your interactions will start to have a more positive outcome. Conclusion. In any setting, social skills are essential to interpersonal communication. The ability to show empathy in conversations or listen closely to clients helps increase productivity and create quality work. Social skills can significantly impact anyone in professional settings. They make it easier for you to communicate with other people, leading to better business relationships and long-lasting friendships. There are many ways to improve your conversations. One way is to find ways to further conversations with friends, family, and close coworkers. Another way to practice conversation skills is by taking time every day to have a conversation in your head with an outline of what you will say when you speak with someone. A third route is practicing conversation skills by asking questions of people around you and having conversations through those exchanges. Start developing your social skills by engaging with people you interact with daily. For instance, if you're out shopping, ask them how their day is going and ask them other questions. You can learn how to improve your conversation skills by speaking with someone who's on the other side of the world. It would be best if you took turns talking and letting them speak so that you both get a chance to practice. It could become a self-fulfilling prophecy if you constantly think negatively about your social interactions. A person afraid of being awkward might view their social interactions as negative and consequently avoid relationships. Working through negative thinking patterns can be challenging, especially if they've been ingrained in your mind for a long time. But with time and practice, you can take control of your thoughts and replace them with more realistic expectations. Don't waste time thinking about things that don't make you progress. Developing good social skills are engaging in small talk, complimenting people on their strengths, smiling more often, and asking questions. Remember, a person's social skills are something they need to practice and develop over time, but with these tips, that can be done easily. So what are you waiting for? Go out, meet new people, socialize, and build new relationships.